book nerds, Margot from Team Epic Reads here, and it's time for the July book haul. What's up? Alright, let's talk about the books that I read this month. The first one I read was The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, and I would show you my copy of it, but it's on an e-reader, and I don't really think you want to just like look at a shiny device because like that's not that much fun. So I'm just gonna pop the cover in here anyway. I reread The Handmaid's Tale. I had originally read it back in college, but I reread it recently this month because I did a list video, which if you haven't watched, definitely click on the link that's popping up to go watch that video. So I reread The Handmaid's Tale, and honestly, I didn't really remember all that much stuff from when I'd read it in college. I remember reading it in college and being like, what is dystopian? I don't know what dystopian is, but it sounds like a terrible society and all this stuff. This was like pre-Hunger Games, like pre the dystopian craze. So The Handmaid's Tale was the first dystopian novel that I read, and I was just like, dystopians are bad, but I love reading them. And that's pretty much all I remembered about The Handmaid's Tale. So when I reread it this time around, I was like, oh, right, there's like a whole like story that actually goes on here. And I had forgotten all about Offred. I forgot all about her story and like the whole thing with the commander and the commander's wife and Nick. And anyway, the point is that the second time around was so much better than the first time around. I picked up on so much more nuances and those small storylines and all of the themes, and it was just like, it was such a better read the second time around. So if you guys haven't read The Handmaid's Tale yet, please go read it. I love Margaret Atwood. That book like introduced me to Margaret Atwood, and I've been in love with her writing ever since. She's probably my favorite speculative fiction writer. I love all of her stuff, and one of my favorites is actually a little bit of a departure for her. It's called The Penelopiad. It's a retelling of the Odyssey told from Persephone's point of view. It was really good and just like very different from her other books, so I would definitely check out that one. It's a personal favorite of mine, but all of Margaret Atwood is really, really great. So that's what I read. What else did I read? I read Midnight at the Electric by Jodi Lynn Anderson. Let's take a look at this cover. Ta-da! Here's the back. So if you have at all watched any of my videos or like been a fan of Epic Reads at all in the past 5 years, you will know that my favorite YA book of all time is Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. So I've read every single book that Jodi Lynn Anderson has ever written. The Peaches series, Tiger Lily, Vanishing Season, I've read all of them, and Tiger Lily is my favorite. It still is my favorite. It will always be my favorite. But this is by far my, like, it goes Tiger Lily, Midnight at the Electric, everything else is equal and still amazing. Midnight at the Electric is so, it's so good. Oh my god. It was like emotional and like impactful and powerful in ways that I like wasn't really prepared for. I mean, you can always expect to be moved by Jodi Lynn Anderson because her writing style is just so, oh my god, it's like listening to music. That's what her writing style is like. It's like listening to a classical song that's just like so beautiful that it makes you cry because it's that beautiful. That's how all of her books are. And in this one, it's like even more so like that. And it's a sort of like a generational story, and it's set in the future, but also set in the 1930s Dust Bowl America, and then also set in the 1910s, I believe, in the UK. So, but all of these three different women in each of these generations are somehow linked, and you sort of like get that as you go, and you figure out how they're all connected. It's sort of like this old 90s movie that probably none of you have watched, but it's called How to Make an American Quilt, with Winona Ryder. If you have happened to see that movie, that is what I was reminded of when I read this book. I was like, like that, like, or like Joylet Club, like, you know, generational stories, like passing on the things that they've learned, and it's hard to explain, but you'll get it once you read it. And it's a coming of age. There's romantic parts, there's terrifying parts, like the Dust Bowl. I didn't know anything about the Dust Bowl before I read this book, and who knew that the Dust Bowl could be so like dramatic? I mean, I know it was dramatic, but like, it was like reading a post-apocalyptic novel, but like it actually happened. The Dust Bowl actually happened, and it's just very beautiful and lyrical and will make you cry and make you feel things. And so if you're like don't go into it thinking that you want to read a book that is gonna like not make you feel things, because like some books, you know, some books are just like there for pure entertainment. They aren't gonna like rip your soul out, you know, and just like smush it. But this book will just make you feel all of the things. Oh, so many feels. Too many feels. Like literally I couldn't contain the feels. And everyone is super, super obsessed with this book here at Harper. It's got like a billion, bajillion starred reviews. People are loving it. So I would definitely strongly recommend that you check out Midnight at the Electric. Okay, the third and final book that I read this month is probably the most fun I've had reading a book since maybe Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. So I'm super excited to show you guys The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. First of all, let's take a moment to appreciate this gorgeous cover. And here's the spine, and here's the back. Actually, I've never undressed this, so we're gonna undress it together for my first time. Oh, I like the spine. Look at that naked spine, y'all. Ta-da! So, I'm just gonna be like sitting here talking about this book with this stupid, big, dumb smile on my face, because that is how this book makes me feel. It is set in the 18th century. It is like a big gay 18th century road trip novel in Europe that is like, oh, I don't even know how to, like, where to begin. It is probably the funniest YA novel I have read in forever. Maybe the funniest YA novel that I've ever read. It is romantical. You are going to ship Monty and Percy so freaking hard. And it's just like, it's one of those like plot-driven stories that is super, super voicey. Like, there's voice novels and there's plot novels, and it's really rare when you do find that one novel that is like an amazing mixture of both, and this book is an amazing mixture of both. Like, the plot of this story takes you in places that you will not expect and you will not see coming, and then when you do, you're like, this is insanely weird, but also somehow fits perfectly. But also, it's just like the characters in this. It's the characters that you're going to love so much. Oh my gosh. It's narrated by Percy, and he is just like hilarious and self-deprecating, and is just so aware of like who he is and his character. And honestly, like, it's the kind of book where you read it and you like see it perfectly in your head, like you're watching a movie. It's like one of those books, like instantly, like page one, you are just like, it's like a movie reel going on in your head. And I really hope that they do make this a movie. I have no idea if the movie rights have even been sold or any of that stuff, but I genuinely hope it's going to be a movie, because it would be hilarious. Or a TV show. I would accept anything. So, like, please, you know, Hollywood gods, please turn this into a thing that would be on the screen, because it would be so funny. Anyway, Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. Everyone is obsessed with this, so if you've been on book Twitter at all recently, you've probably seen people, like, gushing about this book. Rightfully so. It's one of those ones that totally 100% lives up to the hype. And it is just so heartwarming and hilarious and just adventurous and cute and sexy, and there's just like, oh, it will like make you like squee, and oh my god, it's just so good. It's so funny, and it's like one of those books that like the characters feel like that you're like friends with them, like you've known them your whole life. And you know those books, like they're rare when you find them. That's one of these books. All right. Okay, now is the time where I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay, now is the time where I'm going to run through all of the new books that have come out from Harper or are about to come out from Harper, so keep these ones on your radar. So I have organized them into a couple of stacks because there were some themes to these, and I'm going to start with one of the shorter stacks. So I just talked about The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, so this stack is the, I would say, the summer road trip. The funny summer road trip stack. So we've got Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. And we also have I See London, I See France by Sarah Milanowski. And if you haven't read any of Sarah Milanowski's books yet, you absolutely should start with this one, because it is just as good as all of her other ones. And she's just hilarious, and all of her books are always so romantic and sweet and cute, and just, you know, like the books that will just like turn that frown upside down. It's like one of those kinds of books. So that's new. And that's it for that stack. So my next stack is a stack of one. Can a stack be a stack if it's only one book? Sure, why not? And that is the lonely sci-fi stack, which we have here is Blight by Alexandra Duncan. Let's take a look at that. It's got an interesting back cover. That's what that looks like. And the biggest stack for this month of new releases from Harper is the feelings stack. The stack of books that will probably, maybe, definitely make you cry. And we have Midnight at the Electric by Jodi Lynn Anderson. Everything All at Once by Katrina Leno. Let's turn that around. This Is How It Happened by Paula Stokes. The Art of Starving by Sam Miller. I really like this cover. I like this illustration style. It's cool. Also in the sad stack, that's what we're gonna call this. The sad stack is The Gallery of Unfinished Girls. I really wanna read this one. And the last book in this sad stack is These Things I've Done by Rebecca Phillips, and this one is super sad. About a girl whose best friend dies, and the main character probably, maybe, was involved in her best friend's death. So, you know, this stack is like full of super fun, light summer reads that will definitely not make you sad. Just kidding. And we have two books that are the third and final books in series. We've got Vindicated by M.G. Reyes, and this is the third book in the Emancipated series. Good, fun, summer beach reads. You can binge read this whole series now. And we have Forever in Love by Suzanne Colasanti, and this is also the third book in that series, in the City Love series. So if you're looking for a really fun, sort of sexy, like just summery, romantical reads that you just want to binge through, literally just binge through while you're at the beach or at the pool or at the lake this summer, then I would definitely go with these series because the third books are finally here. And finally, the last of the new books this month is the romantical section, but not necessarily always romance. What do I mean by that? I mean, these books deal with relationships. Romantical relationships. We've got Who's That Girl by Blair Thornburg, and this one, I love this cover. This might be my favorite cover in this whole stack, actually. There's something just like so 70s about this cover, right? I don't know, I like really love this cover. It's really cool. And we have 16 Ways to Break a Heart, so if any of you watching this are going through or thinking about going through a breakup, definitely check out this one. And the last book, and the last new book for Harper recently is If, for some reason I like all of a sudden couldn't read the words. If Birds Fly Back. This is also new. Another relationship story that's not necessarily a romance, but it's about relationships. So let me just do a quick recap of everything that's new. I'm gonna stack them up here. Oh, oh good lord. Why did I do this every video, and every video I regret doing this? Oh my god, why do I drop them everywhere. BRB. There are so many books that I can't hold them, so I'm trying to stack them on my chair. But even that, my chair like can't hold them. Oh my god. I promise that no books are harmed in the making of this particular segment. Oh, there's a very soft floor that they have been landing on. Nope. This is just like always this is a fail. Fail! Hold please. Okay, maybe now I can get this. Okay. Ta-da! Look, I did it! And they're not falling. These are all the new books. Ta-da! Look at all of them. Okay. Oh, my arm muscle. My one muscle can't handle all of this. Okay, there we go. Whew. Oh look, they're there. Huh. I should just hand over my book nerd card right now because I feel like I've failed. Alright, now it's time for the what I received from the other publishers segment of this video. And it's a very short stack. Bloop. That's it. This is all I got. I got the Orchid. Here's this guy. From Partridge Publisher. Okay, that's a thing. The Rift Uprising. I've actually featured this book in a previous book haul. Don't remember which one, but it had a very different cover. So this has gotten a brand new cover. Here's what this looks like. Is anybody else reminded of like Battlestar Galactica with this cover? I'm totally like doesn't it look kind of like Starbuck maybe? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I'm showing you that because there's the sequel, The Rift Frequency by Amy S. Foster, That one is coming out in October, so I got a copy of that. So if you're into like sci-fi dystopian novels like I am, definitely check these two out. And I also got a copy of The City of Brass, which has like a very shiny, this is a galley, but it's like got so much shiny action happening. And it says in the back, step into a city of enchantment, of power, of desire, of mystery, of danger, and meet a daring and powerful young woman whose destiny will determine its fate. I should not be an audiobook narrator or like a book trailer narrator. I am just now learning that. And the last book that I got this month is The Hawkweed Prophecy. So here is that cover, and here's the back. So that's it. That's it. That's all the books that I got. Not too many. It's cool. It's fine. My bookshelf honestly can't handle any more books anyway. It's just like collapsing under its own weight of all the books. I should really get rid of some, but I can't. They're my children. Okay, so I thought, I don't know why I always start by doing this as a video. Okay, so I thought that since I am now trying to write books, that in my book hauls I would give you guys little brief updates on my work in progress. So this is my Margot's work in progress update section of the video. Ta-da! I have learned recently that I am a pantser. So everybody was always like, oh, are you a plotter or a pantser? And pantser, if you aren't familiar with that term, it means somebody who is not organized at all and has no idea what they're doing, and it just sits down and starts writing, and who knows what's gonna come out, and it doesn't really have a plan, just is sort of like, I've got an idea, let's run with it. So I'm a pantser by nature, but I've recently learned that it's really helpful to have an outline because otherwise you will spend like hours writing and you're like, this is an amazing scene. I have no idea what's happening in it, but it's an amazing scene. And then you get done and you got like 2,000 words later, and then you're like, cool, so cool, I can't use any of this. Right on. Sweet. Awesome. So glad I just wasted a lot of time doing that part. Cool. Awesome. Oh God. But it is really fun writing. Really wish I had paid attention in like my writing classes in school, because that would have really been beneficial. Because like right now I'm like, how do you format dialogue? How does that work? I've got like a couple thousand words for each of my projects, some more than others. And I will give you guys an update on how many, I'll give you a word count update in the next one, and hopefully I'll actually have more concrete updates to give you other than that, like, I've been messing around and trying to figure this whole thing out, which I think is really important when you're starting to write, especially if you've never written before, like me, and you just gotta figure out, like, what's your writing style, like, what do you need going on around you in order to write? You know, people are always like, oh, do you listen to music? Do you have to have snacks and all that stuff? I need to have, like, white noise, no distractions, which is really hard when you have a really cute dog, and just like no internet anything. So I do think there's a really important part to when you are trying to be a writer is to like figure out like your working methods and your style and like what your strengths and weaknesses are. And so I've been really using this time to sort of figure that stuff out, and turns out writing dialogue is not necessarily a weakness for me, but knowing where the hell my story is going is. So I am working through that right now, and I will give you guys more updates in the next book haul. But in the meantime, what I really want to know is tell me what you guys are reading and what's going on in your life and how you doing. What's your summer reading goal? Like, how many books do you plan on reading? I was recently asked what books I'm going to be reading this summer, and I had like a serious panic attack because I was like, oh my God, I haven't put together my summer reading list. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? And again, now I'm thinking about the fact that I don't have a summer reading list, and I'm starting to freak out again because I'm like, I should have a summer reading list, right? But I don't have one yet. So hopefully, if you follow me on Twitter, hopefully someday soon I will have figured out what my summer reading list is, and then I will share it all with you. But until that time, tell me what is on your summer reading list in the comments below, in addition to your recommendations that I definitely do need. And just keep me updated with what's going on with your life. And of course, as always, don't forget to subscribe to Epic Reads. We've got the little subscribe button action happening down here somewhere. Don't forget to follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good fun stuff. And check out some more videos coming from me soon, and I will see you guys in the next video. A little book shimmy to you all. That's not a book shimmy. This is a book shimmy. This is like a book bow. Book shimmy to you all, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! What is my life?